Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Famitsu, the top gaming magazine in Japan, they had a big feature on the Nier universe, and in there are 2 pages on Reincarnation, including in-game news, which has not been released anywhere else, which is annoying. Sometimes they do this where they break news outside of the game, like at Tokyo Game Show, or in an insert in the Switch Nier Automata game. Frankly, I wish they would do it all in-game or on the official Twitter account, but I get why. It's to get the community involved, searching and sharing together. That also explains why a lot of the game systems in Japanese games are opaque. It's to get the community together, helping each other. And there hasn't been a director's letter in a while. He said he was going to do more of that, but he got appendicitis over the holidays and went to the hospital, so I think I can forgive him. And then I also wanted to talk about shutdown worries. I've caught wind of murmurs in the user base, so I thought I'd talk about that too at the end of the video. I'll make a shutdown prediction at the very end of the video. But the news covered in Famitsu is in 3 parts. 1, the next chapter of the Sun and the Moon storyline coming this month is the final one. 2, there will be a new main storyline after that. And 3, there is a new game mode coming. Let's talk about those 3 and then make some guesses about what they could be. First, Sun and Moon is concluding. What was surprising to me about the storyline was how long it went. Not that I'm complaining, I appreciate the deep dives into these characters, but I didn't go into it expecting it to rival the girl and the monster. Yuzuki and Hina will probably meet, but I'm a little nervous about that. They have chosen their sides, and we'll see if they can reconcile. Second, there will be a new main storyline. This is the single biggest thing I was waiting for in regards to judging how much life is left in the game. With an announcement of something new, we can hope for a 3rd anniversary. Without that announcement, I think then we could expect the shutdown to happen this year. Not that a new main storyline is any guarantee of a 3rd anniversary. Just because Girl and Monster and Sun and Moon went as long as they did, doesn't mean that the next will also be that long. They could certainly do a storyline half as long or a quarter as long, just to put a bow on the story and then shut it down. I want to be clear that that is a possibility. But however long it goes, it will be to the conclusion of the story, because knowing what I know now about Yoko Taro and Saito Yosuke, the story is the most important thing, and they wouldn't abandon it halfway through. They wouldn't shut down the game before revealing what the cage really is. I'm pretty confident about that. And then, I don't know if there are any folks worried out there about like global shutting down before JP, but I think the effort to speed up global so that it would match JP is almost a guarantee that they're going to shut down at the same time. So yeah, whatever numbers the global version is doing, I would not worry about a shutdown before JP. I mean, no Japanese mobile game maker is going to expect, similar or better results from the global version of their game. So yeah, the JP numbers are what we really want to look at. Okay, and then third, there is a new game mode coming. At a certain point in the life of mobile games, new game modes make me more worried than excited. The reason for that is because the core gameplay mechanics can really only support so many game modes, and often what we get is an old game mode dressed up as something different. Let's face it, Recollections of Dusk are towers dressed up as something new. Don't get me wrong, I love both game modes, and they have their little nuances to make them different from each other, but essentially they play the same. What'll be interesting to see is if the new game mode is PvE, PvP, or co-op. Just to temper expectations, I highly doubt it'll be co-op. If it is PvE, great, that's my favorite because I am asocial. But if it's PvP, that would be really interesting, because that would be the developers stepping up their commitment to the game. PvP means servers, which means greater cost. But if the developers feel it is worth investing more into the game in this way, it means they have confidence in the future of the game and expect it to go longer. Alright, finally, let's talk about shutdown worries. I actually wrote a script for a video explaining the Japanese mobile game industry and common or uncommon reasons for why a game shuts down. But it got so long that I scrapped it. Instead, I'll point to some good signs that I see for the game's longevity. First good sign is all the stuff that I just pointed out. The more story, new game modes. Signs that a game is dying is no new content, no new quality of life updates, no developer communications for like months at a time. That means there's like no one working at the game beyond the bare bones stuff. Also, I want to point out that when judging the health of a game, it's important to remember what kind of game it is and what the target audience is. I think a number of top-level, long-time players are twiddling their thumbs in Nier Reincarnation because they don't have much to do. They've done it all. And I am one of them. Arena and Subjugations have basically never gotten major updates, and that can look like a sign of stagnation, except if we remember what is the major draw of this game, the world and story, then we remember that the target audience is the casual user, not the hardcore user. I mean, PvP in Nier Reincarnation is pretty anemic compared to other games, and again, they've never updated it. If we can get out of the high-level user mindset and remember what it was like as a new user or a casual user, then the game looks pretty great. It's had a steady stream of new characters, new stories, new worlds, new events, and a powerful 3D unit viewer. There has been that power creep jump with Awakenings, but that hasn't been necessary for enjoying the story. Some games do hide story behind power creep, but Nier Reincarnation knows its major draw is that, so they keep it easy-ish to access. And then the Dark Memory or Recollections of Dusk stories are behind some hurdles, but anyone can get over them if they play long enough. There are signs the game is doing well with casual users. For one thing, the JP Twitter account has 350k followers, compared to the 2 million of Fate Grand Order, or 1.5 million of Uma Musume. That's not much. But if you compare it to other Square games, 350k is half of Dragon Quest Walk, it's the same as Dragon Quest Tact, and it's as much as Brave Exvius and War of the Visions put together. Now I'm more worried about the two FFBE games. I'm kidding. Their business model is different. It is to bleed whales dry for high-level PvP, so they can get by with a smaller but more intense player base. Also, the last few months on Twitter, they have done votes on Nier Day, asking folks to pick which additional rewards they would like, and the rewards that appeal to newer players, like Lavender Cubes or Pull Tickets, always win over rewards that appeal to longtime players, like Antlers or Black Pearls. That strikes me as a good sign that a good number of new players have joined recently. Add to that the recent Nier Automata 5th anniversary event. They did not announce a new game, and instead pushed Nier Reincarnation, and I'm sure a lot of people joined because of that. Although the sales numbers may not look amazing right now, my guess is the developers are banking on these recently joined casual users to slowly, eventually develop into dolphins or whales, and the developers want to wait and see a bit if that happens. And then the changes that we got today to the shard exchange system should encourage more spending. The number one thing important to the health of a game, the long-term health of a game, is a constant inflow of new players. Bleeding whales dry, of course, only lasts as long as the whales can last. But yeah, getting new players, that is important, and that seems to be what Nier Reincarnation is accomplishing. I also want to remind folks that this game is not expensive to make, and producer Saito, always very frank, was the one who said it. The game employs a lot of younger workers who in Japan always make less, and because the Nier franchise is so beloved, I can easily see these younger workers making Nier Reincarnation a labor of love, working beyond their paycheck's worth. Director Matsukawa lives in a little apartment, so if you're worried the money you put into the game goes to buying Ferraris for the staff, it's not. It's largely going back into the game development. And to end, one wildcard or secret weapon the game has is the duo of Yoko Taro and Saito Yosuke. They hold tremendous power, not only in Square Enix, but in the gaming industry as a whole, and if anyone can convince the higher-ups to keep a pet project going despite poor sales, it's them. My guess is Square Enix has made so much money on Nier Automata that they can afford to run Nier Reincarnation at a loss, and it would still be worth it because they are still building the overall brand. Nier Reincarnation helps Nier Automata too. I mean, I picked up Automata because of Reincarnation. Okay, so to end, what are my thoughts about the chances of a shutdown this year? Or what are my thoughts on the chances of the game making it to 3rd anniversary? With this story announcement, I'll say the game has a 65% chance of making it to 3rd anniversary. But if there was not this story announcement, I would say the game has a 10% chance of making it to 3rd anniversary. So I think we're in a good place. I remember at launch, I was looking at just like how the game was built, and I was skeptical that the game would make it to 2nd anniversary. And yet, here we are. So they have definitely made some good choices, some good design choices along the way. Hopefully there are more of those to come. Okay, let me know what you think about the future of the game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.